Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? I hope y'all doing good because I have another episode coming to y'all, and this episode is called Why Did I Choose Paganism to Also Come into the Fold? Well, why did I choose paganism? Um, I chose paganism because several reasons in the making. One, I was always intrigued as a kid. I watched witch shows, Bewitched, Shaka Zulu, and a few other witch shows. Um, as a teenager, um, all the way up, and it was it was very much intriguing to me as a kid, and and so as I got a little bit older, I was curious to know what it was all about. If everything I see on TV is real or is it fake? If everything that Wicca and witchcraft believe that I knew, if it was real or if it was fake, if it was just like any other religion, did it have misconceptions in it? Um, did it have did it have wrong points in it? What was it all about? Did it have puzzles that you have to put together? Yes, puzzles. As in Islam, I was born a Muslim. I really enjoy. I really like being a Muslim. Um, but it came to several points where Muslims would um, would do things. They'll do things to the society. They'll also do things to me that will have me looking backwards on Islam. That will have me rethinking about Islam. Um, and all the symptoms I had, believe me, it was not hard. Um, but I stuck with it. Um, and um, so I kept on passing one test after another test, after another test, after another test, and I was happy with myself. Um, and so, but some other Muslims just kept on talking to me about the wrong thing, just kept on treating me very badly. Um, when you invite somebody or talk to somebody, how you not supposed to treat a person bad, um, how you are, uh, well, you're not supposed to do a whole lot of things, but yet they was being done to me. And it's supposed to be one ummah, as we say. I started to back up, piece it all together for myself, make it a little puzzle, pick out what was good, what was not. Um, Everything that I read, um, everything that I heard on lectures, that I read in the Quran, that I read in the Hadith, everything became a puzzle to me, and I was picking out and I was only picking out what goes here, what goes there. If um, trying to picture myself in that time period. Um, what was being said? Why was it being said? And for what reason was it being said? What kind of meaning? What kind of meaning does this hadith have? Does this saying have? Is it a strong meaning? Is it a weak meaning? I kept asking myself, let me go back further. Let me go back further and find out, what does this mean actually? Because I didn't want I didn't want to just believe in words. I wanted to get down to what the actual meaning was, and why it was being said, and how strong is it? Do it have an is it like some of our words today, words that come out one way, but it can mean something else entirely? Is it like that? So I want to look at it from that point of view as well. I want to look at it from all different angles, to see what was good, what wasn't. Um, and I was also intrigued with Buddhism. I don't know that much about Buddhism, but from what I did know about Buddhism and the little bit that I read about Buddhism, it's a very nice and peaceful religion as well. So I wanted to do the same thing with that. I want to pick it apart. I want to see what is good, what isn't. And with paganism, I want to do the same thing, because it did not say that we couldn't be friends with pagans. It did not say that we couldn't do anything else with pagans. So I wanted to get to know paganism. I want to see what it was all about. So I looked up this meeting, on Meetup.com, and I went there. I was nervous. I admit it. I was nervous because I did not know what to expect on my first day. And I also had symptoms as well. I had very bad symptoms. I had depression as well as other stuff, and my depression was very bad. So bad that a few times I tried to kill myself a few times. Um, just looking at something, just hearing something, just being around something. A person talk to me, listening to something on the radio, it could make me cry, just like that. If I didn't have tears on the outside, then my heart would be crying. And it was real bad. Sometimes I'd even have depression so much I would just go into a trance. But I would still be conscious. So I had it real bad. And even though it's not all gone, but once I found out that paganism, uh, uh, that witchcraft or had did have um, did have misconceptions. What was the misconceptions? Why there was being? Why there was a misconceptions? What the people actually was thinking about the witches and why they would think that way. Um, it's just like some of the other religions, except they're probably a little bit worse because there's because uh, lots of things in history gave them a very very bad name. Um, so once I learned all of that out, I also did my own research. I didn't just take their word for it. I also did my own research. Googled it. Googled the history. Googled that misconception. Looked up a few other things. Looked up some of them things on YouTube. But at various different people, and everybody that told me the positive, if the positive was much more stronger than the negative, then I'll go with the positive. If the negative was much more stronger than the positive, then it was negative. Um, so I found out a whole lot of the misconceptions to really be misconceptions, and what it was all about. Explained to me it was much more about the love of different things, and it started to give me peace. You know, that peace that you get naturally, not the one that you have to force yourself to not the peace that you have to force yourself to have peace, that you have to tell yourself is peace. No, the naturally. It just came to me naturally. It drenched my head, my body, my soul, my heart. It just came down, and I just felt peaceful. And a lot of the depression that I had, instead of it being very big, it went down. It went down some. Matter of fact, it went down a whole lot. I still have depression, but it's not as bad as it was. Um, and so I owe a lot of that. Um, so I owe a lot of that to, like, God and Wicca and witchcraft. So somebody asked me one day if I could give Wicca up, if I can give witchcraft up, um, in order to do something else. And that was a very big decision for me. That was a very hard decision for me because if something was good for me, if something took away something, or reduced it a lot, something that was real bad. Even though God was in control, still led me to that point to where it just went reduced, not taken away, reduced. I just can't see myself I just cannot see myself getting out of that way, whether I practice it or I don't practice it. I just don't see myself getting away from it. So the answer I gave them was much more harder than a question that they gave me. And of course, the answer was no, in case you're wondering. So that's how I came into paganism. Now, do I still practice Islam? Yes, I do. I still practice Islam, but at the same time, I'm also into paganism. I'm also into witchcraft, Wicca, learning about it, studying it. So that was me. Hope you all enjoyed this. If you like it, hit that subscribe button below. Help me to get strong on YouTube. Because believe me, I want to get strong on YouTube. I want to be just like you if you're on YouTube. All right. Ta-ta.